Hello, my name is Jason Flores. Today I will be presenting The Alchemist, an adventure fiction by Paulo Coelho. The quote that I chose was, "The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page." The way I felt about this book was I felt like I was going through a whole different journey throughout the whole story. I felt like the main character was going through several changes to the point where I didn't even know what I was feeling. I felt like I was so sucked in that I felt like I was actually part of the journey. I felt like I was the character. I felt like I was leading everyone on. Have you ever felt bored? Do you want to feel as if you're going on a journey? Would you like to hear stories of another's greatest journey? Then this book greatly fits by. It's a story so unique within its story. It's about one self goal. If you cannot reach your own self goal, maybe you just need encouragement by others. And maybe by listening to the story of another person, you might even be able to find out what is your personal treasure. What is your personal goal? For everyone, it's a little bit different. You may never know what it truly is. But hey, you can always find out. What is in such a great story? This story, I've just told you it's amazing. But now you're probably wondering why? What is so special? Well, first, let me start off with what the conflict is. What is this person trying to fight with? Is it himself versus God? Is it himself versus the world? What? Well, it's more of him finding himself, since he goes on a great journey to find out what he truly was meant to do in this life. He finds out that in life you may have your beginner's luck, the luck that everyone gets at the beginning, basically. But sometimes, you don't know what your purpose in life is. And that's the point of the story. It's supposed to teach you that everyone has a purpose. Even if you may not know it, everyone has a purpose in life. The theme. From what I read, I felt like the theme had to do with a journey is not really a journey if you don't know what you're achieving. For example, let's say you want to go buy something. If you were to go through the journey and not know where you're going, you would probably end up to your destination, but it would take way longer and it would be unknown. You wouldn't even know where you're going. Sometimes you wouldn't even be able to make to it because you didn't know what you were doing. It was the same thing with DMC. He followed the path that he knew that people were telling him to follow. People were telling him to believe in the powers of everything around him, the powers of little artifacts, and to believe in everything, and he'll finally achieve what he truly wants. What did the character learn? Well, the character learned a lot, actually. He learned about himself, what love truly means. He found out a lot more about what his own personal desire was, and what one little subtle change really changed his view on the world. How sometimes the most basic of things may seem basic but can actually be used more well around. Sometimes even the most type of things that people would think that would seem a little bit crazy isn't all that crazy once you're actually a part of it. People don't realize that until they actually become part of it. What was the main character's name? What was his story any different? His story was different from others because he was actually achieving his personal goal. He didn't try achieving anybody else's goal. He did what he believed was right. He did what he wanted to do. He did it because he knew that other people were leading him on to what he felt like was his true personal desire. His name was Santiago. Santiago is a very interesting person. The more you read about this book, the more you'll actually love and actually feel like you're part of the story. You'll less likely have to worry about what what is going on in the story, since as you follow along what Santiago does, you'll start to realize that Santiago is just like you and me. We we're living our everyday life. We're working. We're doing this and that. Especially me. I'm about to turn 18. I have a hard working job every day. And hey, sometimes you just really relate to the main character, and sometimes you just want to go out too. You want to live your life to the greatest that you can. You don't want to stay in one single location. The main reason why I said to read this book though is because it has everything you would need into it. It has thriller, it has an adventure, it has a deeper meaning of life. And what in what way could a story bring you together except this one? This one is a type of story where you could read with close friends, close family, and you could always end up talking about how his story was advancing, how the craziest ways the author uses symbolism by symbolizing everything around him, by saying how everything in life, there's a little life to it. Like the sun, the wind, the desert. The author makes it so obvious that there's life in everything, but it really takes a person to find out what it is. Just how Santiago had someone named Melchizedek lead him on and take him to his actual story. That's where you meet important characters too, like the shopkeeper, Fatima, the alchemist, the Englishman. These are the people that you start to realize they all develop the character. They all bring what we all love about Santiago. These are the reasons why we want to read The Alchemist. It not only brings us closer to finding out what this is or what correlation he has to the other characters, but it also shows us what his brain mentality is, what he thinks, and what he truly believes. There are also other things brought into it, such as the elixir of life, the philosopher's stone, and everything that's brought onto him by his mentor, the alchemist. The alchemist is an extraordinary person. He's gonna be the person that makes you think while you're reading this, like, hey, was I drunk? Am I am I reading this right? Like, am I out of this world? Am I still on this planet? When you get to that point in the story, that is when you're absolutely gonna know The Alchemist was the greatest choice of all. There are definitely other stories out there that are similar to this one, and go ahead, read it. But if you're gonna start off on a good story and you really want something strong on adventure, something that actually makes you feel like you actually want to go get something, like you really want to find out what your life purpose was, and realize how everyone else's journey is nothing. Everyone else's journey is nothing if there's not really a purpose to it and why you would really want it. Of course, there are several ways you could maybe collaborate on that and be like, well, hey, maybe it was his personal journey, or maybe it was something that he was into. But the way the alchemist explains it, and it goes throughout the story of how Santiago wanted his personal goal and how the people around him led him to it, that is literally what brings the story together. If you truly do like adventure and you love a little bit of romance, a little bit of everything, you you don't want your story to be bland. You don't want your story to get stuck onto one single topic. You want your story to expand so far into it that you feel like you're actually part of the story. You want to feel like you are the story. That was my presentation on The Alchemist. Thank you for listening. The Alchemist is a great story to those who haven't read it yet, and I hope that this reaches you on great condolences, Mr. Arlandis.